This week's project is making my bed warmer.
In this episode we're going to add some heating ductwork so that we can have an outlet here on the top of the wardrobe and have some more heat going into the upstairs bed space. Because although heat rises, the bed itself blocks an awful lot of that heat from rising up into this space, which just has the canvas walls with the bits of insulation we've installed already. So here's how we did our heating extension. So we found a rather convenient point here on the top of the wardrobe. And actually the way the wardrobe's been built, there's a perfect space for the tube inside the front right corner, where it'll be totally hidden and very neat. All we have to do is cut a few circular holes in the furniture, join into the existing heating pipe with a T-joint and fit everything back together. Simples, eh? So here are all the bits. I've measured out what we need and bought a couple of extra spare clips just in case. I couldn't get an exact colour match for the hot air outlet, but it won't be seen unless you're in the top bed, because it will be on top of the wardrobe, so I'm not too worried about that. The ducting is all going to fit into this front corner of the wardrobe and down into the cupboard below. Then we need to remove the, I guess I'll call it a tidy panel, behind the cupboard to access all the existing ducting and to cut into that to make our join. So let me show you how the ducting is going to fit. It's very tight, so I don't want to force it in and out too many times, because this paper covered foil tubing is actually quite delicate, although it's really not the most flexible of stuff to work with, so I don't want to put a permanent kink into it either. Taking the wardrobe off is making this job a lot easier. So, having laid the ducting into place, it needs to be spliced into the existing ducting. Conveniently, there are two ducts which come into this hidden part of the cupboard under the wardrobe. One goes under the caravan and emerges back up to heat the rear area of the van and around the rear fixed bed, and the other one, the one I'm going to cut into, only feeds the washroom outlet. It's always absolutely boiling in the tiny washroom, so much so that we've got to keep the outlet almost 100% closed to keep it anything like a reasonable temperature. So I'm not at all worried if almost all of the heat from this particular tube goes to the upstairs. Apologies, it's rather cramped and dark in here, so it's not so easy to see me cutting into the original duct and then fitting the new T-piece. Apart from the fact I'm led on the floor, over a cupboard threshold and working in a tiny space, these parts are actually fairly easy to use. It's getting into the furniture that's the difficult part. The tubes are corrugated and the T-piece has lugs inside, so all you need to do is gently push the two together and the lugs hold the tube into place. I've made sure I've pushed it all the way home, as I don't want anything working its way loose as we travel along, because getting that tidy board off was a total faff, and I don't want to ruin the screw holes. Then it's just a simple matter of cutting the new ducting to size. It seems to fit better if it's a freshly cut edge, and slotting it all into place. Whilst I was faffing around in the cupboard, Dad on a mission got the less frustrating job of cutting a neat round out of the lower corner of this tidy board and screwing it all back together, because I was totally annoyed by that point. So here's the tube running up from the new join, across the floor inside the cupboard under the wardrobe, up through the wardrobe itself and out of the top. As it turns out, we didn't need any of the wall clips I bought, because the tube fits so snugly into place inside the wardrobe. It's probably been forced into a slightly oval shape by now, but that really doesn't matter, as long as there are no kinks. The final thing to do is, rather than having the tube just randomly sticking out of the top of the wardrobe, or to have it at surface level where things are more likely to fall in, Dad on a mission has made a neat little wooden box to raise the final level and to hold the outlet really firmly, because there's both a back plate and a front plate which screw together. The ducting tube, of course, pressure fits onto the back plate, and then the front plate screws in from the finished side of the furniture panel. So there we go, upstairs heating. Pretty easy mod. The parts themselves, as I said, were easy to use. It's just an utter faff getting yourself stuck in cupboards trying to fit them in the tidiest way possible. But having done it slowly and carefully, and hopefully tidily the first time, hopefully we won't have to perform any maintenance on it, other than rescuing anything the kids accidentally or on purpose drop down the outlet. I've threatened them though that if they do that on purpose, the upstairs heating will be going off. So the last little bit to this mod is that once we'd had the heating up and running for a few trips out, we found that actually the air upstairs wasn't circulating very well from one side of one of the beds to the other side. And so we got this central divider curtain that I showed the make for a few months ago. And I decided that the best way to tackle airflow up here was to shrink the curtain so that it didn't go all the way to the back. And then hopefully that increases the flow. We'll see how we get on. We might need to add a little bit of a circulation fan in the future, but I'll come back to you if we do. Hope you've enjoyed following along with our little mod. Thanks for sticking with us, really appreciate you being here. And until the next time, bye for now.